Imagine a serene suburban neighborhood in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where children play freely and families feel secure in their daily routines. Now, picture that tranquility shattered by an unthinkable act. A 12-year-old girl, Morgan Geyser, along with her friend Anissa Weier, committing a crime so shocking it captivated and horrified the nation. What could drive two young girls to such darkness? What lies beneath the surface of their minds that led to this tragic outcome? In this video, we embark on a journey to unravel complexities behind one of America's most chilling juvenile crimes, the 2014 Slender Man stabbing. We'll delve deep into the psychological makeup of Morgan Geyser, exploring the factors that may have contributed to this unimaginable act. Our goal is not to sensationalize, but to understand, to shed light on the shadows that lurk in the corners of young minds pushed to the brink. As we navigate this harrowing narrative, we'll examine the environmental influences, family dynamics, and societal pressures that converge to create a perfect storm. We'll consult expert analyses, psychological studies, and, where possible, first-hand accounts to piece together a comprehensive picture of the events leading up to the crime. By understanding the why, we hope to foster awareness and prevention, ensuring that such tragedies become relics of the past. Stay with us as we uncover the story of Morgan Geyser and the Slender Man stabbing, a tale that challenges our perceptions of innocence and evil. Through this exploration, we aim to not only inform but also provoke thought and discussion about the broader implications of juvenile crime in our society. Before we proceed, a word of caution. The content ahead involves discussions of violent acts committed by minors. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for those sensitive to such topics. Our intention is to approach this subject with the utmost respect and sensitivity, focusing on understanding rather than sensationalism. Now, let's step into the world of Morgan Geyser, seeking to comprehend the incomprehensible and to shine a light on the darkest corners of the human psyche. In the quiet suburb of Waukesha, Wisconsin, the morning of May 31st, 2014, began like any other. Three 12-year-old friends, Morgan Geyser, Anissa Weier, and Payton Leutner, planned a day of innocent fun, starting with a game of hide-and-seek in the nearby woods. Little did anyone know, this day would end in a horrifying act that would captivate and horrify the nation. As the girls ventured deeper into the wooded area of David's Park, the atmosphere shifted from playful to ominous. Morgan and Anissa had devised a chilling plan, one that they believed would earn them the favor of the fictional internet character, Slender Man. This tall, faceless figure, born from online horror forums, had captured their young imaginations to a dangerous extent. Convinced that committing a violent act would grant them entry into his mythical realm, they turned their sights on their unsuspecting friend, Payton. In a sudden and brutal attack, Morgan wielded a 5-inch blade, stabbing Payton 19 times while Anissa encouraged her. The assault was merciless, with wounds penetrating major organs and narrowly missing a major artery by less than a millimeter. Believing they had completed their dark mission, Morgan and Anissa told Payton to lie down, assuring her they would get help. Instead, they left her bleeding in the woods, embarking on a misguided journey to find Slender Man's supposed mansion in the Nicolet National Forest, some 200 miles away. But Payton's will to survive was extraordinary. Despite her grievous injuries, she managed to crawl to a nearby road, where a passing cyclist discovered her and called for emergency assistance. Surgeons later revealed that if the knife had gone the width of a human hair further, she wouldn't have lived. Her survival was nothing short of miraculous. Meanwhile, Morgan and Anissa's journey was short-lived. Police apprehended them hours later near a furniture store on Interstate 94, still in possession of the bloodied knife. Their plan to reach Slender Man's mansion was thwarted, and they were taken into custody, setting the stage for a legal battle that would delve into the depths of juvenile crime and mental illness. The ensuing investigation uncovered a disturbing narrative. Morgan and Anissa had been plotting the attack for months, deeply immersed in the lore of Slender Man. Morgan, in particular, exhibited signs of severe mental illness. She reported lifelong visual and auditory hallucinations, including imaginary friends and visions of ghosts. Psychiatrists later diagnosed her with early-onset childhood schizophrenia, a rare and severe condition that blurred the lines between reality and delusion. Anissa, while not diagnosed with psychotic disorder, displayed a susceptibility to delusional beliefs Heavily influenced by Morgan's hallucinations and the shared obsession with Slender Man together, they created a feedback loop of delusion and reinforcement, culminating in their violent act. The legal proceedings were complex and unprecedented. Both girls were charged as adults due to the severity of their crime. Anissa pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide and was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. She was sentenced to 25 years to life in a mental health institution. Morgan accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide, but was also found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. She received a maximum sentence of 40 years to life in a mental health facility. In the years following the attack, both girls underwent extensive psychiatric treatment. Anissa was granted supervised release in 2021 after nearly 4 years of hospitalization. Morgan's journey has been more tumultuous, despite significant progress in her mental health. Her requests for release were met with caution. Concerns arose over her reading material and communications, suggesting potential risks. However, in early 2025, a judge approved her conditional release to a group home under strict supervision, citing her improved mental state and reduced threat to public safety. This case raises profound questions about the intersection of juvenile crime, mental illness, and the influence of internet culture. It challenges our understanding of accountability and the capacity for rehabilitation in young offenders. As we delve deeper into the psychological profiles of Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier in the next segment, we invite you to reflect on the factors that led to this tragic event and what can be done to prevent similar occurrences in the future. Stay with us as we continue to explore the mind of a 12-year-old killer, unraveling complexities that blur the line between innocence and malevolence. Morgan Geyser's journey into the depths of a tragic delusion began long before the fateful day in 2014. As a child, Morgan experienced vivid hallucinations. She spoke of seeing ghosts, colors melting down walls, and even had imaginary friends, notably one named Maggie and another called Sev. These weren't mere figments of a child's imagination. They were manifestations of a mind grappling with a burgeoning psychosis. One particularly haunting vision was of a figure she named it, a smoky, ink-colored entity that lurked behind her in mirrors and darted around corners, a chilling precursor to her later obsession with Slender Man. The lines between reality and fantasy blurred further as Morgan's fascination with Slender Man intensified. She believed she could communicate telepathically with this fictional character, along with others like Voldemort from the Harry Potter series and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Morgan confided in doctors that she possessed Vulcan mind control abilities, allowing her to feel and believe whatever she desired. These delusions paint a portrait of a young girl ensnared by a complex web of hallucinations and false beliefs. Compounding these psychological struggles was a genetic predisposition to mental illness. Morgan's father had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and had been hospitalized multiple times during his teenage years. This hereditary link cast a long shadow over Morgan's mental health, suggesting that her descent into psychosis was influenced by both genetic and environmental factors. Enter Anissa Weier, a classmate who shared Morgan's sense of isolation and fascination with the macabre. Their friendship became a crucible for shared delusions, each reinforcing the other's belief in Slender Man's existence and the necessity of appeasing him. Together, they constructed a reality where committing a violent act was not only justified, but required to prove their loyalty and secure their safety. This mutual reinforcement created an echo chamber, amplifying their distorted perceptions and setting the stage for the horrific events that would unfold. The attack on Payton Leutner was not a spontaneous act of violence, but the culmination of months of meticulous planning. Morgan and Anissa believed that murdering their friend would grant them favor with Slender Man and allow them to become his proxies. They plotted various scenarios, ultimately deciding to lure Payton into the woods on the guise of a game and carry out their grim mission. This premeditation underscores the depth of their delusion and the extent to which they had detached from reality. In the aftermath, Morgan's mental state deteriorated further. While in custody, she exhibited bizarre behaviors, talking to herself, pretending to be a cat, and keeping ants as pets. She reported seeing unicorns and continued her conversations with Slender Man and other fictional characters. It wasn't until she was transferred to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute and began receiving antipsychotic medication that she started to show signs of improvement. The medication helped clear the fog of psychosis, allowing Morgan to express remorse and comprehend the gravity of her actions. The legal proceedings that followed were complex and unprecedented. Both Morgan and Anissa were charged as adults due to the severity of their crime. Morgan pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide, but was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. The tale of Morgan Geyser is a haunting exploration of the human psyche, illustrating how untreated mental illness, combined with external influences and complex interpersonal dynamics, can lead to unimaginable outcomes. It underscores the critical importance of early mental health intervention, the potential dangers lurking in the digital age, and profound impact that relationships can have on shaping our perceptions of reality. As we continue to unravel this intricate narrative, we invite you to reflect on the delicate balance between understanding and accountability, and the measures society must take to prevent such tragedies in the future. The courtroom was charged with anticipation as the trial of Morgan Geyser commenced, drawing national attention to the complexities of juvenile crime and mental health. At just 12 years old, Morgan faced adult charges for the attempted murder of her classmate, Payton Leutner, a case that blurred the lines between childhood innocence and calculated violence. The prosecution painted a chilling picture of premeditation. They presented evidence of Morgan's detailed planning alongside Anissa Weier, highlighting their shared obsession with the fictional character Slender Man. The court heard how Morgan believed that killing Payton would make them proxies of Slender Man, protecting their families from his wrath. This narrative was supported by journal entries and internet searches seized from Morgan's possessions, revealing a disturbing descent into a fantasy world where fiction dictated reality. In contrast, the defense delved into Morgan's psychological state, arguing that she was not criminally responsible due to severe mental illness. Expert witnesses testified about Morgan's early-onset schizophrenia, a condition inherited from her father. They described how Morgan experienced hallucinations and delusions from a young age, including visions of ghosts and conversations with imaginary friends. These symptoms, they argued, culminated in her belief that Slender Man was real and that she had to kill to appease him. The jury faced a daunting task of unraveling this complex tapestry of fantasy, mental illness, and intent. After deliberation, they reached a verdict. Morgan was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. This decision acknowledged the severity of her actions while recognizing her compromised mental state at the time of the crime. The sentencing phase brought its own set of challenges. The court had to balance the need for public safety with the potential for Morgan's rehabilitation. Ultimately, she was committed to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute for a maximum of 40 years, with periodic reviews to assess her progress and determine her readiness for reintegration into society. Meanwhile, Anissa Weier's trial followed a similar trajectory. She pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree intentional homicide, but was also found not criminally responsible due to mental illness. Anissa was sentenced to 25 years in a psychiatric institution, reflecting her role in the crime and her own psychological struggles. The trials of Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier ignited a national conversation about the intersection of juvenile justice and mental health. Legal experts debated the appropriateness of trying minors as adults, especially when severe mental illness is a factor. Advocates called for reforms that would ensure young offenders receive the mental health treatment they need rather than being subjected to the traditional penal system. In the years following their commitments, both Morgan and Anissa underwent intensive psychiatric treatment. Anissa was granted supervised release in 2021 after demonstrating significant improvement and expressing remorse for her actions. Morgan's journey was more protracted, with several petitions for release denied due to concerns about her mental state and potential risk to the community. However, in early 2025, after nearly 11 years of treatment, a judge approved Morgan's conditional release to a group home under strict supervision. This decision came despite objections from state health officials who cited red flags in her behavior, including her choice of reading material and communication with individuals outside the facility. The judge, however, determined that Morgan's progress warranted a step toward reintegration, emphasizing the importance of continued monitoring and support. The release of Morgan Geyser has elicited mixed reactions from the public and those directly affected by the crime. Payton Leutner and her family have expressed concerns about safety and the adequacy of the supervision measures in place. Conversely, mental health advocates view Morgan's release as a testament to the potential for rehabilitation and the effectiveness of long-term psychiatric care. As we reflect on this harrowing case, it serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in youth, the profound impact of mental illness, and the complexities of justice. The story of Morgan Geyser challenges us to consider how society addresses juvenile crime, the adequacy of mental health resources for young people, and the delicate balance between accountability and compassion. Stay with us as we continue to explore the aftermath of this case, delving into the lives forever altered by that fateful day and the lessons we can glean to prevent such tragedies in the future. In the aftermath of the harrowing 2014 attack, Payton Leutner's journey from victim to survivor is a testament to human resilience. At just 12 years old, she faced a brutal betrayal that left her with 19 stab wounds and emotional scars that would take years to heal. Yet, against all odds, Payton emerged not only alive but determined to reclaim her life and narrative. The physical recovery was arduous. Surgeons fought to repair the damage from wounds that had narrowly missed vital organs. But beyond the physical pain lay the emotional turmoil of grappling with the betrayal by her closest friends. The trauma manifested in various ways. Payton revealed that for a period, she slept with scissors under her pillow, a poignant symbol of her lingering fear and the profound impact of the attack. Despite these challenges, Payton displayed remarkable courage. In a 2019 interview, she expressed gratitude for the support she received and emphasized her determination to move forward. Without the whole situation, she reflected, I wouldn't be who I am. As Payton worked to rebuild her life, the legal proceedings for Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier unfolded. Both were committed to psychiatric institutions, with Anissa granted supervised release in 2021. Morgan's path was more complex. After multiple petitions, a judge approved her conditional release in early 2025, citing significant progress in her mental health treatment. These developments reignited public discourse about justice, mental health, and the capacity for rehabilitation. For Payton and her family, the news of Morgan's release was met with mixed emotions. While they understood the legal rationale, concerns about safety and the adequacy of supervision measures persisted. Payton's mother, Stacy Leutner, articulated these sentiments in a heartfelt letter to the judge, detailing the ongoing physical and emotional challenges her daughter faced. She emphasized the deep scars left by the attack, both seen and unseen, and the family's apprehension about the potential risks associated with Morgan's reintegration into society. The community, too, grappled with complex feelings. While some advocated for compassion and recognized Morgan's progress, others questioned whether justice had been fully served and whether the measures in place were sufficient to prevent future harm. Amid these discussions, Payton continued to focus on her personal growth. She pursued higher education, enrolling in college and striving to lead a life defined not by the events of 2014, but by her own aspirations and achievements. Her story became one of empowerment, inspiring others to find strength in adversity. The Slender Man case serves as a profound exploration of the human psyche, the impact of mental illness, and the complexities of justice. It challenges us to consider how society addresses juvenile crime, the adequacy of mental health resources, and the delicate balance between accountability and compassion. As we reflect on this narrative, we are reminded of the resilience of the human spirit and the ongoing journey toward healing and understanding. Payton Leutner's story is not just one of survival, but a reclaiming agency, demonstrating that even in the darkest of times, there's a path forward illuminated by courage and hope. In early 2025, the courtroom was abuzz with anticipation as Morgan Geyser, now 22, stood before Judge Michael Boren, seeking conditional release from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. The hearing was a culmination of years of legal battles, psychiatric evaluations, and societal debate surrounding one of the most infamous cases in recent memory. Geyser's attorney, Anthony Cotton, argued passionately for her release, emphasizing her compliance with institutional rules and the unanimous support from 3 doctors who had evaluated her mental health. She's done everything right, Cotton asserted. She's followed the rules. She hasn't done anything wrong. She needs to get out. The prosecution, however, raised concerns about Geyser's recent behaviors, including her reading material and correspondence with an individual fixated on her case. They highlighted that Geyser had been reading a book containing violent themes and had exchanged letters and drawings with a man who later sold them online as part of a Slender Man package. Despite these arguments, Judge Boren ruled in favor of Geyser's release, stating, "I don't see a risk to the public, and I don't see a risk to her." The decision to release Geyser was met with a spectrum of reactions. Supporters viewed it as a testament to the potential for rehabilitation and the effectiveness of mental health treatment. Critics, however, questioned whether justice had been fully served and expressed concerns about public safety. The community remained divided, grappling with the complexities of forgiveness, justice, and the capacity for change. As Geyser prepared to transition to a supervised group home, the conditions of her release were meticulously outlined to ensure both her well-being and that of the community. These conditions included continuous psychiatric treatment, regular monitoring, and restrictions on her activities and associations. The goal was to provide a structured environment that would support her reintegration while mitigating potential risks. The media frenzy surrounding Geyser's release reignited public discourse on juvenile justice, mental health, and the influence of digital culture. Experts weighed in on the challenges of diagnosing and treating mental illness in adolescents, the impact of internet folklore on vulnerable minds, and the broader implications for the justice system. The case served as a catalyst for discussions on policy reforms aimed at preventing similar tragedies in the future. Amidst the societal debates, the personal narratives of those directly affected continue to unfold. Payton Leutner, the victim of the 2014 attack, had spent the intervening years rebuilding her life with remarkable resilience. Her journey from victim to survivor inspired many, highlighting the human capacity to overcome even the most harrowing experiences. As Geyser stepped back into the world, the intertwined lives of these young women served as a poignant reminder of the enduring impact of that fateful day. The story of Morgan Geyser's release is not merely a conclusion, but a continuation of a complex narrative that challenges our understanding of justice, redemption, and the human psyche. It compels us to reflect on how society addresses the needs of troubled youth, the adequacy of mental health resources, and the delicate balance between compassion and accountability. As this chapter unfolds, it remains to be seen how Geyser's reintegration will influence public perception, legal practices, and the lives of those forever changed by the events of 2014. In the years following the harrowing 2014 attack, the lives of those involved have taken divergent paths, each marked by profound transformation and ongoing challenges. Morgan Geyser's conditional release. In early 2025, after nearly 11 years of treatment at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute, Morgan Geyser was granted conditional release by Judge Michael Boren. This decision came after extensive evaluations by mental health professionals who testified to her significant progress and deemed her no longer a threat to herself or the community. The conditions of her release include continuous psychiatric treatment, regular monitoring, and strict supervision in a group home setting. However, the path to her release was not without contention. State health officials raised concerns about Geyser's recent behaviors, including her choice of reading material with violent themes and correspondence with individuals fixated on her case. Despite these objections, the court upheld a decision for her conditional release, emphasizing the importance of structured reintegration and ongoing support. Anissa Weier's earlier release. Anissa Weier, who participated in the attack alongside Geyser, was granted supervised release in 2021 after demonstrating significant improvement during her time in psychiatric care. Her release was also met with mixed reactions, balancing the recognition of her progress with concerns for public safety. Payton Leutner's journey. Payton Leutner, the victim of the attack, has shown remarkable resilience in rebuilding her life. She has pursued higher education and continues to focus on her personal growth, choosing to define her future beyond the events of 2014. Her strength and determination serve as an inspiration to many, highlighting the human capacity to overcome even the most traumatic experiences. Ongoing public discourse. The releases of Geyser and Weier have reignited public discourse on juvenile justice, mental health treatment, and the capacity for rehabilitation. These cases challenge societal perceptions of accountability and the potential for change, especially in young offenders. While some view their releases as a testament to effective mental health interventions, others remain apprehensive about the adequacy of supervision and the potential risks involved. Conclusion: the complex narrative of the Slender Man case underscores the intricate interplay between mental health, juvenile justice, and societal safety. As Geyser and Weier navigate their reintegration into society, and as Leutner continues her journey of healing, their stories serve as poignant reminders of the enduring impact of that fateful day. These developments compel us to reflect on how we address mental health issues, particularly in youth, and the measures we take to balance compassion with accountability. It remains to be seen how these young women will continue to shape their futures, and what lessons society will glean from their experiences. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of true crime. What do you think? Can a child ever truly change, or does the darkness stay with them forever? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.